my best. Okay, great. Please take a seat, everyone. We're going to start as soon as possible in order not to be late.
Stick it up.
Everyone sit down, please. Okay, thank you. Welcome to this NP2 in Geneva. I hope everyone is very happy to be here, not too tired yet. So I'll just start with presenting quickly the chair team. So I'm the main chair. You have Julia, Audrey, sorry. Julia, my vice chair, and Tim, the technical chair over here. So we are going to be here in the front managing everything for these 2 days. Quick comment about the organization of the procedures and question round. So, when we open a question round, if you want to speak, first consider the relevance of your question. This means if it's not going to interest everyone in the room and you could just ask the presenter later during the coffee break, do so. If it's a relevant question which is going to interest everyone, ask it in front of everyone. If you want to ask a question, raise one hand completely. If you have a reaction to what someone said just before, you raise just 2 fingers. The difference is that if you raise 2 fingers, you're going to be the next one in the speakers list so that you can react to what someone said. If you raise one hand, you're going to be later after everyone else has spoken. If you're addressed directly, you're allowed to answer. And reactions must be relevant to the original question, obviously. When you speak, so before your question, state your name and section so that we can have it for the minutes. And try to be as clear and concise as possible so that we do not waste time. So, now, last comments. If you see someone raising both hands like this, it means silence. So, shut up, do the same thing, and wait until everyone is silent. And if you see someone doing that, it's something different. It means that you agree or you applause. So it's also in order to not waste time so that we don't lose time with the noise. And that people can continue speaking. Okay? Up. Sorry for this. Is he ready? Yes? Let's see. Should I put it back? Je devrais passer à la suite là où il vient. Dear President, we need an opening speech. the president.
Ouais, ici, non.
Oh no.
Did anyone do that?
Yeah, Katie. Sorry. Icebreaker? Relay.
Okay, then we're gonna do the icebreaker in between. Melody.
Icebreaker.
Yes.
So hello everybody, it's good to see you here. To meet each other a little bit more right now, we're going to make some teams. So please start counting to 7. Yeah, because you're very few. I can't think anymore. So let's start there. 1,
1, 2,
3, 4,
5,
7.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
1,
2, 4, 5,
6,
7.
1,
2,
3,
4, 5,
6.
7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
1, 2, 3, 4.
5, 6.
Cool. So now we're going to get into groups. One's over there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay? In the circle.
Pour Kevin? Ok. Un lunch, on fait ça? Pendant le lunch, on fait ça? On fait ça pendant le lunch? Ok. Je poste dans CH informal. Je poste le lien du stream dans CH informal. Je le fais maintenant.
Okay guys, so now you're in a group and you have 3 minutes to find the most things in common amongst yourselves. Things that are a definition of a human don't count. So if you say I have hair on my head or I have 2 arms, that doesn't count. It's not very original. So good luck. You have 3 minutes. 1, 2, go.
Mic. Mic test. Hello. Hello. Je sais pas trop, je vais faire un peu les tests. On entend.
It is time to stop now. So who found between 0 and 5 things in common? You found one? Between 5 and 10? Okay, cool. And more than 10? Whoa. So congratulations. Now we're going to change teams. So amongst yourselves, count to 7 or 6 if it doesn't work. And then change teams. 1, 2, 3, like before. Okay, so.
Nice.
Allô.
Oh, yeah. Ok. Il en faut. On a besoin de celui-là.
Okay, guys, we'll start now. So 3, 2, 1, go. game. So who won? Who think they won? So how many did you find?
1,000.
Ooh, congratulations. How about you guys? 1,001?
12.
Oh. So let's go back and have a good NP, everybody. Thanks for playing.
Fabi! Ah, Fabi!
Okay, everyone, sit down again. We finally have a president.
Is that funny? Well, greetings everyone. I've heard my theme tune, so I turned up. I heard that you also already broke the ice, which is good. I was supposed to be able to read my minutes, but it does not work with this mouse. So, welcome to the second national platform of ESN Switzerland. It's wonderful to see you. As you can see, I've gone through a couple of upgrades myself since the last time I was here. You guys are looking pretty good as well. So, first and foremost, thank you for being here. Secondly, we are still looking for an OC for the next national platform. I'm looking angry at the moment. Okay, nobody's ready to step up right now? Okay. Well, you know, I'll just slowly force choke you individually until we find an OC. Or we'll just be here until the end of whenever it's going to take. Okay. So, it's really nice to see you. I've said that about 5 times now. A few things. I'm really a bit late. Sorry about that. This got a little bit more difficult to do. Plus, my TIE fighter was a little bit late. As you can see, we as the NB are not superheroes. So please feel free to ask us questions, criticize us, not agree with the things that we do. It's quite important. We need to know that we're doing the right things for the network, especially in NP3, coming up to in NP2, coming up to NP3, when we will be doing a lot of proposals. We have a very exciting mandate and a very exciting time at the moment, lots of cool projects. We're really going to rekindle our partnership with Responsible Party, which will be a really cool thing. It's very difficult to breathe underneath this. This is why Darth Vader speaks so slowly. Okay, so we but seriously, we really love doing our job. I really love seeing you guys here. This is what it's all about. Giving back to the network, making sure that we're doing the right thing. That's why you need to criticize us. You need to let us know that we're doing the right thing. Only this way we can grow in the power of the force. We can grow in the power of ESN. With that, I think I've said enough. Yeah. So, with this and my final action in my opening speech, I want to declare ESN Switzerland to be the first galactic ESN empire.
Thank you. So, votes. So does every section have their voting device? We're going to check that in a minute. Just a few rules. So we don't have any vote delegation, so one section present is one vote. Simple majority unless otherwise stated. No case here. Yes. Okay, 2. Do we have 15? 13? Okay, perfect. Good. So now we get to the real votes, and we have the proof that it's called La Clément. Yeah, we had only 2 abstentions. Okay, so we'll start with the agenda. You've received it 10 days ago or something. There is only one little change, which is that Serbia is not coming anymore. So instead of their presentation tomorrow, of NP2 Geneva 2018, yes, no, abstain. So if you vote yes, raise your voting device now. Okay, that's 13, no, abstain, good. Next vote is, so the agenda is approved. Do you approve the minutes of NP1 Basel 2017? Again, you received them 10 days ago. So again, yes, no, abstain. If you vote yes, raise your voting device now. Clearly, please. It's 12. No. Abstain. Who didn't vote? Can you raise it again? Yes. Okay, now it's 13. Great. Cool. Okay, so it's approved. And that's it for the votes now. We don't have a vote on the CT because it's not in the statutes and standing orders. So if you're not happy with your chairing team, complain to Theo. Huh? No, standing orders say that he is appointing us. Okay, so we're going to start with a little history presentation with Julia.
First presentation.
Yes.
This is very Do you have downloaded the Kahoot app? It's a game. We're going to play a little game now.
I'll let you log in. So if you don't have the app, you can also access it online. You have to go on the website or something. on kahoot.it. KAHOOT.it.
Kahoot. Kahoot.
Yes.
Actually, we don't know, but yeah, maybe you. I don't know what team they got planned.
I got a message from
Everybody was ESN International National Coordination. And somebody answered to it.
one more.
ऐसा बहुत नंबर के लोग हैं।
Anybody else?
Was I'm like, oh, more.
Is everyone ready?
Everybody ready?
Yeah. Kahoot.
Let's start. Are you ready? Start easy. When did the Erasmus program start? 1978, 1987, 1987. Millennial generation. Of course, 1987 is correct. So it started probably earlier than how old you are. Sorry.
Yes. I think the remote.
What?
No, that's it.
Okay.
Come to NG.
Who's come to NEG? Great.
Real tough,
You have another chance in the next one. Where did the first HM take place? That's the tough one. Essen, Gothenburg, Copenhagen, or Brussels? Please keep in mind that ESN was not based in Brussels. It's not so bad. But yeah,
I said it was something.
Which Swiss ESN section became the first member of ESN International? That's going to be an easy one.
What section?
Thank you to the two people who went for all I love you.
Right now, ESN sections are still members of ESN. Let's keep it that way. Yes, of course it was ESN Zurich, and it was in 1994 when ESN Zurich was founded and became member of ESN. When was ESN Switzerland founded? Now I'm talking about the organization ESN Switzerland. It should not. In 2000, a couple of other sections popped up in Switzerland. Until the year 2000, Zurich was pretty much alone. Then Winterthur and Wädenswil and Lausanne joined. And then in 2001, it became necessary that there will be an organization around that. So ESN Switzerland was founded in 2001 in the summer in Zurich, but the first NP took place in Winterthur in 2002, and that was the time that the statutes were written and so on. Do you have any questions to the founding of ESN Switzerland?
Yes, for later.
Okay, congratulations, 32 had the correct answer. For 2017?
It's me.
Oh yeah, even better.
How many members of ESN Switzerland ever joined the IU? Yes. Actually, ESN Switzerland was super big on international level. There was only 1 year in, I think it was 2005. So in between the founding of basically the first section to the till 2010, there was always somebody from ESN Switzerland in the IB. And the guy you saw on the picture, he was the last one in the IB. That was Fabian from ESN BFF. But yeah, congratulations to the 10 who got the right answer. Why are the old ESN scared of trains in ESN? The ESN train is the biggest failure of ESN. The technical gadgets are super enough they turn down. Many people would say that the first ESN 93 or our trains in 2009, there was a project called ESN Train, and this project was one of the biggest failures in ESN at all, and it was initiated by ESN Switzerland or ESN Zurich, actually, to be a little bit more precise. It wasn't this section organizing it in the end, because the section at some point realized the risks are too high, so they founded a company called Platform GmbH, which was the organizer, but basically it was more or less the section of ESN Zurich and the whole country of ESN Switzerland 2 hours before the train should have left, it was cancelled by the Austrian railway company. Afterward, it was around €500,000 fail, which were still like participant paid a fee for going. There were different services which were already bought in, food, everything, and that all was for nothing. There were a couple of trials at court afterwards. It took around 6 years to clean up the mess. In the end, the main organizer, Bernhard Jäckle, he was, the court says it wasn't his fault, it's the fault of the ÖBB, and and they are to blame. But it was really, really bad because the participants already stood at the platform, were already waiting for the train, and no train was showing up. So yeah, some of us still remember that.
Maybe explain what the event was going to be.
Ah, yeah, sorry. The ESN train was a train which was going through, which was supposed to go through whole Europe, and it was should be driving at night. And each day you were in a different city, and the ESN section in the city would have organized a day or something like city tours, games, parties, whatever. It should have been 3 weeks, starting in Bratislava and ending in Vienna. And yeah, didn't happen, unfortunately. So, yes. The ÖBB said they want to have a fee paid before the train starts. And there were 3 different fees they claimed to want to have paid. One was like something like €2,000, which was paid. Then one fee was like, they said it's like 20,000 or 25,000. But then in the end they cancelled because they said, hey, we wanted to have a fee of €100,000, it's not paid, we're not going to do it. The problem was also a little bit that the whole ÖBB organization is a little bit chaotic and they are not talking to each other. So one person was for the project, another person was against the project, and yeah. So it was all in the trials, and Bernhard Jäckle, the main organizer, he was, for 6 years he wasn't able to work 100% because he took care on this whole shit going on. You got a cake, I guess. Okay, do you have any other questions to this black chapter of ESN history? No? Okay. Let's go on. Why are there 2 ESN Zurich sections? More spots at the AGM? It's historic, money issues. It's historic, me and ETH wanted to have their name. Or it makes the administration easier. Actually, there's 2 correct answers. So it's historic, Uni and ETH wanted to have their name in the section's name. That is actually true. And it's historic, money issues. This is also true because at that time, no ETH organization could get money from a university, and no university organization could get money from the ETH. So it needed to be 2 sections that both universities could support ESN Zurich. How the organization level was, they just didn't care. And yeah, more spots at the AGM is nice. Okay, 2010 was the year we gained and lost a section, which we gained Sion, we lost Cour, we gained Cour, we lost Sion, we gained Cour, lost Verdun, and we never lost a section. So in 2010 we gained Cour, that is correct, definitely. We lost Sion, We also lost Yverdon. What? No, okay, this should have been corrected. I have it in 2010. We lost Yverdon a couple of years earlier, unfortunately. So yeah, in total, ESN Switzerland lost 2 sections throughout the years, Sion and Yverdon.
Yes! Look at the third one.
Every ESN section organized at least one NP or CLR. Who was the last to make the statement true? Was it Geneva? So this NP actually? Or was it Basel? Or was it Lugano? Or is the statement actually wrong? It's something like an NP but smaller. Council of Local Representatives. Hey, so ESN Basel was the last one to organize a kind of national event for ESN. A CLR, if you don't know this thing, we decided in years and years back that we don't want to have 3 NPs a year. We wanted to have only 2 NPs and 1 CLR, which is the Council of Local Representatives, and a little bit smaller than an NP. But in the end, it was anyways an NP. So in the end, I think at some point we decided it doesn't actually make sense to have 2 different names for the exact same thing. So CLR, Council of Local Representative, I think it's not done anymore. Before that, there was even something called President's Meeting, where only the presidents of a section met. But that name is also not used for a long time anymore. Good.
Yes!
Which sections organized the first web in Switzerland? Is it Lausanne? Is it Bern? Is it Zurich? Or is it Winterthur? Sorry. I decided not to put all the options. But I'm waiting for next year actually to organize the web. Yes, first web in Switzerland was in 2007, organized by Lausanne. The next web was organized in 2009 by Zurich, and then we didn't organize any web anymore. So really cool ESN Fribourg for this year's web.
Cheating alumni.
Why are ESN Winterthur and ESN Wädenswil one entity? They merged because of administrative reasons. ESN Winterthur needs to support ESN Wädenswil from time to time. It used to be 2 different universities, now it's 1. Or no idea. The answers are correct. So yes, they merged because of administrative reasons. ESN Wädenswil is usually 1 or 2 persons only. It is difficult to have an organization around that. It used to be 2 different universities. Yes, that was true when they were founded. And ESN Winterthur from time to time needs to support ESN Wädenswil to actually get a member there. So yeah, it is difficult in a small place like that. But yeah, cool. Or had no idea? Well, now you know. How was ESN Olden founded?
I made it
The international office got upset that we don't put the language section. We represent ESN Olden. The students really joined an NP and So 3 things are true. Of course, ESN Olden, there is ESN Olden, as you can see. It is actually true that it's all started with the international office getting upset that they don't have a section. That was on the 25th anniversary of the Erasmus program. We had a big event organized by the national agency, and ESN was represented there. And in one of the breaks, the international office came to me and was like, "What is this thing, ESN? Why aren't we in ESN? Why? What is this? We want to be part of it too." So I talked a little with them, I explained it to them, and then we invited, at that time it was Tanja Kühni and Özlem, who came to the national platform, or the CLR in Winterthur, and they liked it. And then Nino and me went to Alten and also presented ESN there. So yeah, it just kind of a little bit my baby as well. Of course, Nino's baby mostly, but it was the easiest founding of an ESN section ever, because everybody just wanted to be in ESN and everybody pushed, especially the international office. So that was pretty cool. Great. You don't know that ESN.
We're going to talk later.
Okay, who founded ESN Lugano? Some crazy Italians? ESN Milano? Brilliant and National Board of Women who speaks Italian? Or Marchons and ESN St. Gallen alumni? It is actually Maxence, who was member of ESN St. Gallen and who went on a Swiss mobility to Lugano, and there was no section, so he wanted to have a section and he founded a section. The other three arguments are a little bit right, because after he left, the section basically died. And then it was Brianne who decided, now we want to save them. So she got help from ESN Milano and some crazy Italians, and they went there and found new members and refounded the section. But originally it was founded by Maxence. Yeah, me, still. What was Benefree? ESN sections in Bern, Neuchâtel and Fribourg working together. Yeah, Emil and Frida, three at the time famous ESNers. A cooperation designed to save ESN Fribourg, or what do I care? So, two answers were correct. In 2010, there was one girl only coming back from Erasmus. She was interested in joining ESN, joined ESN Fribourg. The whole team met with her and said, "Congratulations, you're now the president, we're all leaving." So she was pretty much alone, she didn't know what to do, and we invited her to come to the platform in Winterthur, and she the sections of Bern and Neuchâtel said, "We're going to help you." So they had a lot of intersection events among those three sections, and by the end of the year they had a stable team of about 10 people. So yeah, it was designed to save ESN Fribourg, and they worked together. Very nice. And there is no Bernd, Neville and Frida. How tall was the tallest Swiss NR and which section was he from? 2 meters and 10. 2 meters and 8. 2 meters, 1 meter, 98. ESN design, or this is a very stupid question. Yeah, you guessed right. It is Fabian from ESN EPFL. He was the tallest NR ever, so 2 meters and 8. And about the stupid question, this question was actually asked when he applied for the IB at the AGM in Budapest, during like the presentation for the candidates. So maybe it is a stupid question, but it's a funny one as well. Congratulations! A little bit unfair. Who's NB? Okay. NB is D. So that was my presentation. I hope I could have showed you that ESN Switzerland has a lot of history. Of course, I could have increased the number of questions to whatever. If you have any questions, I'm in ESN since 9 years, kind of 10 years almost. So I know a little bit of the history. I lived a little bit of the history. Ask me if you're interested in something. Thank you.
Diana?
Hello everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Diana, and I'm lucky enough to be president of that beautiful section over there, ESN Zurich. Yeah. First, I need to clarify something. Sophia was initially going to help me with this presentation, but as you're going to get to see something of her a little bit later, we decided I go for this one, and then you get to see some of her beautiful self afterwards. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about the community weekend. And for those of you that are still in the dark, despite the many Facebook posts and emails, don't worry, this is exactly the reason why I'm here. I'm going to talk a little bit about it and hopefully get you a better idea of what it all was about. So the community weekend was an opportunity to get all cozy around the fire and have one-to-one meetings with our beautiful national board. So how do you organize one of these events? Well, first you find the location, which ideally should be in some place around nature and stuff, and in a very deserted place. But you never have to worry because there you're going to have people caring for you, which it's always nice. And you might still be wondering, Diana, you still have told us absolutely nothing about what an NP is. About community weekend is, well, NP, we're going to go through it at the point, I guess later. But you still might know nothing about what a community weekend is. Well, community weekend is lots of work. Like, you get an agenda where you sit down and discuss the hot topics, so to say, of that are going on in ESN Switzerland at the moment. Ideally, every section sends around 2 people. Why 2 people? Because, well, we want to keep decision making efficient, but it's not closed to other members. I mean, if more than 2 people want to come, they're absolutely welcome to do so. Unfortunately, this one time we didn't have as many sections joining, which was a pity because, as I've said before, it's an opportunity to sit down and talk about everything that's going on at the moment. And of course, it's very important that every section has a spot, has a voice, and yeah, get to take part in this very beautiful old school way of teaching stuff, passing information from one another, getting to participate in discussions that are guided through these very beautiful flip charts that some of the national board people has very good skills in producing. Yeah, there are quite some of them. And then you start. You go over and over about all these topics that I mentioned before. And yes, as you notice in the name of these presentations, which is going to be brief actually, the name of this presentation is Community Weekend Outcomes. And I'm a weird person, I like spoilers, but I know most of you probably don't, so I'm not really going to go deep into this because, guess what, this MP is going to be the opportunity for you all to hear everything, or the outcomes actually of what was discussed in more detail. So I'm not going to take the opportunity away from the further presentations, but I'm of course going to show you a little bit of the fun that was happening over there. Like presenting and hardworking, typing, fast preparing this presentation. And of course, what do we do it? Because it's great to get to hang out with each other after a hard day of work. You dig some dirt on people and have some fun, and at the same time, responsible party. Like, this might look like a drinking game, but you can clearly see a Coca-Cola over there. Nobody got drunk, everything was gorgeous. And of course, the next day you wake up to reality again. You still have to go through lots of stuff. But there's still people that find the time to be sporty about it. And yeah, I just wake up with the most beautiful smiles. And that's, of course, what makes it worth it. When you have beautiful people smiling such a way, you can really not be enthusiastic about it. So this picture is all of us saying, guys, for the sections that didn't attend, you really missed on something. You should come next time, not only because it's important that your voices are heard, but also because it was a very, very good opportunity to get to know each other, hang out, and have just an amazing weekend. Thank you very much, guys.
Okay, we do not have time for questions, but if you have any, don't hesitate to approach Diana or anyone who was at the weekend later at the coffee break. So we continue with the budget update with Kevin.
Hi guys. So little finances update. I'm trying to be brief and not going too much in details. That's not my presentation.
Sorry. C'est ça, non?
Non. Oui, budget update. Ouais.
Voilà comme ça et puis c'est bon. Attends, une autre.
Sorry.
It's all right. Okay, sorry about that. We start again. I'm going to do a little overview of what happened during 2017. So first of all, we introduced new budget lines. The first one was international projects. So Moving Europe, IEG, Social Erasmus, and Exchangeability. It was only expenses. Then the community weekend we created this year. So there are income and expenses for that. Also, we included the ESN booklets inside the budget. It was not before. So little overview of the income. As you can see on the left-hand side, that's what was budgeted for the incomes. On the right-hand side, that's what we earned in reality. As you can see, it's higher. Good, no? We did a good job. And you did a good job. What was like the main differences? I'm going through them a little bit. So the first one, well, community weekend, it's a new line, so new income that was not expected, you know? 500. We got more income for sponsoring, thanks Audrey. It was you. We included the booklets in the budget, so it was, again, more income that was not expected, about 3,000 Swiss francs. Wow, 2 times community weekend, sorry. ESN cards, we sold more than expected to you. So means you sold more as expected as well. Finally, we got an extraordinary income, thanks ESN Cours. They were like kind of mistake and they paid us like 1,500 something. Thank you, I think you love us guys, I don't know. It was fixed, by the way. I'm going through that with the expenses. Now expenses. Well, income higher, expenses higher as well. Again, sorry. Left-hand side, that's the budgeted expenses. Right-hand side, that's what we spent in reality. Here I divided by a class of expenses. So ESN International, Switzerland, projects, section, membership fees, and others. So what was the changes, the differences? So statutory meeting. Basically, that's what the NR, the meetings where the NR has to go. So it's called CNR, by the way. And thanks to Laura Jacquinto, where are you, darling? Thank you, you saved us almost 1,000 Swiss francs. Love you. Non-statutory meeting. So that's all international events where the national board can go, and we are refunded for that. We did not use the whole budget for that, so thank you guys. Travel expenses, again, that's expenses that we use to travel around Switzerland to represent ESN Switzerland. We did not use all of it, so thanks Nino and Theo, basically that's their budget, more or less. National platform, there is a slight increase on that. Well, basically, we included the participation fee of the national board inside last year. Before it was to the OC to pay, but we changed that. That's why it's a bit, increased a bit. NB meetings, so national board meetings, we also have a budget for that, and we did not spend all of it. So, good for us. Well, ESN guide, ESN booklet, we included it, so all the expenses for printing it, shipping it, that's a lot. We included it, so that's why, there is an increase. Finally, the community weekend. Again, well, more expenses. And also the international projects. So we launched that last year as well. And, well, we spent a little more than 1,000 for that. Oh, sorry, extraordinary expenses. So the money that ESN Cours gave us, we sent it back. I don't know what happened, it was a small mistake. So the final numbers. Basically, again, left-hand side, you have what was budgeted. Right-hand side, what happened. We budgeted a loss of 3,300 Swiss francs. In reality, we only lost almost 900. So we saved some money. We used it wisely, but we still made a little loss. But, well, we're losing money, okay, yes, but. First of all, grant money should be spent. That's really important. If you don't spend it all, well, you don't get it back next year. Expenses projections are sometimes too high. That explains also a bit of the differences. But, the loss was smaller than expected. And also, that's really a good argument for us. We have the project to increase the grant we receive from the national agency, Movesia. So, we can use the argument, well, we're using all our budget, we need a little bit more money to develop more projects. Then, inside our budget, we have something called section support. It's not used all the time at its full potential. Section projects, so that's, intersection events. You have Luzern trip, well, last year Alton Carnival, Ticino trip, many more. We received ESN Zurich ski trip, and we received new application for this semester as well. Section supports, that's travel fees to come to the NP. Every section at every NP is allowed to receive 2 refunds per section. How do we get those refunds? It's quite easy. So either you ask me, you just write me an email, or call me, or write me on Facebook. I prefer emails, if possible. Or you can go to the wiki. We're going probably to have a presentation about that? Yeah. So Mika is going to explain you more about the wiki. So you can just go there, click on stuff, and you will see. It's easy to follow. Intersection grant. So we received 2 intersection applications. That's really good. I'm quite happy about it. we changed the guidelines this semester with Theo and the rest of the national board. Again, it's going to be soon on the wiki. It's not there yet because we remodeled the wiki, but it's going to be uploaded there soon. If you have any question about it, just contact me, please. You're going to see my email at the end, or you just can talk to me during the NP. Finally, well, is there any question?
Okay, we have 3 minutes for questions, so we're going to take the two of you. Speakers list is open. Laura first.
Laura, ESN in Lausanne. When you presented the expenses, there is a categories for others. Could you give examples of what goes in there?
Well, basically, it's all extraordinary expenses. So when something is absolutely not budgeted, it's also so what happened with ESN Cours, or it's for errors. If you don't use the right account to pay your bills, what happened with the ESN booklets also last year, you're going to put them there. It's a bit the trash bin. You're welcome.
Lionel?
Lionel.
I'm Lionel, I'm former national treasurer. I would like to ask you how much are our reserves, money reserves?
Well, yeah. Reserves is basically what we have on the bank account when you don't have any cash flow. It varies a lot, but we are around 20,000 to 18,000, more or less. I did not check it recently, but it's about around that.
But you are able to face like urgent expenses?
Yeah, well, we always have a lot of cash available. Throughout the year, it's hard. I did not make like an average of cash available during the year, but it's around 10,000 during the year, always on the account, which is okay, by the way.
Any other question? Yeah. Laura?
Laura, ESN in Lausanne. How much do you plan to have as a loss to bargain with Movesia?
Well, you mean next year, like 2018 loss, or?
Yeah. How much do you plan to have as a loss so that you can negotiate?
Well, we plan to have the same expected loss as 2017, so around 3,000, and that's, well, the purpose is like now to show them the new project we want to develop. We included the new project and kept it at like the same loss as last year. So 3,000 to answer your question. Welcome.
I propose to close the speakers list. Any objection? Okay, speakers list is closed. We're now going to move to the board updates. So it's going to work like that. We're going to have 5 board members presenting their board updates before the coffee break, including a question round, which is for the 5 of them. So no question right after each presentation, just one at the end. And then coffee break and the rest of the presentations with another question round for the ones after the coffee break. Okay? So Theo, you're starting.
Hello. Are we starting now? Immediately? Okay, great. Do you have a timer? Is it like a timer or something? No. I'll just start. Okay. Okay. Hi guys. Welcome to the board updates. I'm Theo. I have met most of you by now. I'm the national president. I have the honor of managing this wonderful national board, at least until July. We see what happens. So I'm going to go through an updated action plan. So basically this presentation is more or less a copy of the one I did at NP1, just augmented and updated to the updates that we do and a couple of additions. So board management. Basically, what do I do as a president? It's very easy. This is more or less the same with a couple of updates from last time. I give my board members general support. I monitor the Slack channel. So we have a Slack channel together with, basically try and make sure that everything is answered. It's sometimes a little bit difficult, but we try. I've introduced together with Bütti a huge Excel file, which is called the Master Planner, which has maybe about 25 tabs or something like that, with different projects in every position where we have different tasks so we can actually monitor what we're doing, because it's kind of difficult to sometimes keep track of all the things that we do. In combination with that, we use the app Todoist, which I introduced, where we put in the quicker tasks, and I distribute to my board members and make sure that we can do all the things that we do, and I'm up to date with what's doing. Because one thing that we have discovered is that in our board, we love working together all together, but some of us want more monitoring and some of us want less. So I had to adapt my management style, but I think it's working out quite okay. And then I do some event and project-specific support. So I'm almost there. So, projects and events. Basically, I've been working on the guidelines and concept notes. I'm going to go through this very, very quickly. What are the aims of these guidelines and concept notes? Well, it's to professionalize the board. It is to increase our efficiency, create more clarity regarding roles in ESN Switzerland, revamp our national structure, define regular processes, so for example, the grant process or how we deal with Movitia, and then also work a little bit on accountability and advice. You'll hear more about that. We are going to propose we have some ideas of proposing something called an advisory board, which would give the NB and the national level advice and would give the NB a little bit more of accountability, because it would be people in a position who can question us. Because it's really wonderful with you guys, but you kind of don't criticize us very often, which is beautiful, but at the same time it means that we could get complacent. Just saying. Then I think Nino's going to talk about that more, but we were at IROAS with super important people. So the guy next to Nino is Markus Leitinen, who is the international president of the European Association of International Education. There'll be more on that later. IROAS Geneva 2018. Then we were at the Erasmus Day, Erasmus Tag Swiss Next Day in the beautiful city of Neuchâtel, which was really cool, where we talked a lot about advocacy and international exchange and mobility. Then I was at CND Lausanne. This is with Bulut. We were taking space in CNR Belgrade with Nino and Sophie. And we had a fantastic meeting with Responsible Party, which I just wrote wrong. It's supposed to be an I. I'm sorry about that. Which I will quickly touch upon now. Basically, we had a very good meeting with Etin Cengiz, who is the head of Responsible Party in Switzerland, and she is super motivated. She's a new person, and she wants to do a lot of projects with us, not only Responsible Party, but also corporate social responsibility. So we could pair IEG and social Erasmus projects with them. They have a whole pool of money which we can access. The only thing that they cannot do is transfer money directly, but what they can do is they can support us with I don't know, like helping like volunteers to get from A to B, helping pay for materials, all these kinds of things, so that we can do really meaningful projects, all about health and giving back and social responsibility, which is really cool. I was at the community weekend. I'm not going to lose any words about that. It was really cool. We were in Lugano 2 days ago, which was really great. Bütti will be talking about that more. To quickly update you on the continuation of my action plan, I think our transparency has increased a little bit. It's not 100% transparent yet. This is where we need your feedback. But the things that we've been working on is having our open national board meetings. We don't have many people joining. I mean, that's fine with us, but you guys are always welcome to join our board meetings. We had tried to have an approachable communication style. I think, especially in the community weekend, that was very clear. And we tried to make sure that people can ask us questions whenever they like. And then we like to update the Swiss network on our projects. Some people say we over-update, some people say we under-update. So it's always nice to get feedback how you guys are perceiving this. 3-year strategy, I've done nothing. Basically, it doesn't mean we haven't done any progress, but I haven't analyzed the progress of the 3-year strategy. So I cannot really give you any updates here. I could bullshit and say, yeah, we did something here and here, but I haven't done any analysis on that. That's going to be something for NP3. President's community has been continuing strong, I think. We had monthly president's calls. We had a community weekend too. We've been working on guidelines and documents together. Actually, so far, only one guideline, but this is something that we've been doing, which I think is really cool, that we work on some documents together, that we can manage our sections. And I think at NP3, I'd like to have another president's afternoon. So I think we're almost there. One thing I have to say, though, is that the participation has been going down in our president's calls. So I would like to hear your feedback on why that might be the case. And if you want me to initiate any other activities or something like that, it would be great. Because I think it's really, really valuable that we can exchange, but it is a kind of like 5, 6 same people meeting every time, which is fantastic, but I would like to get actually the input of all the sections because we are a really cool country. This is a picture I wanted to show last time, but I couldn't. This is me at the international event at the national president's meeting, doing a very powerful stance. ESN package, I actually have a presentation for this time, and I'm going to be doing it with Olivia, who is really excited, I can see. And so you'll hear more about that later. Okay, and we'll have time for questions later. Thank you.
Kevin?
Is it just the next thing?
Thank you. Okay, me again. So my update. So I kept it the same as last time. Just going to update you on my objectives of this year. So financial stability, well, not too bad. We did better than expected. The accounting is almost up to date. Still waiting for some refunds. But everything is going great, so not much to say on that. Guidelines, we progressed on that. We had the intersection guidelines. Now the national platform participation fee guidelines as well is going to be out soon. But it's ready already. I mean, it's a really important guidelines regarding finances, and so I hope to finish all what I planned for the year. New approach for Movesia grant. Well, it did not evolve so much since last time. I mean, the concept is still there, but the thing is, we need to wait for some more data. And also to the audit, that would be a good thing to send the audit of ESN Switzerland at the same time. European grants, for now, nothing was done there much, except we contacted ESN Serbia, who has a lot of experience with European grants, and is also outside of Europe as us. But I couldn't start yet on this project. Foundations. I wanted to contact foundations to get more money, but due to my really time-consuming job, I did not have time for that. It's like an extra project I wanted to do, but unfortunately, you know, it's a bit difficult with the job at the moment. All the events I participated since last time, well, Community Weekend NP Basel, NBM Vienna, so it's the national board meetings. It happened in Vienna, it was really cool. CND Lausanne, so Council of National Delegates in Lausanne. Thank you, Lausanne, for that, it was awesome. There are some events I could not attend, or I cannot attend due to my work. So BFC, I was supposed to go there, but I had to cancel. AGM as well, I'm a bit disappointed, but well, it is what it is. So thank you. Question at the end, if you have some.
Good job,
Hello, everybody. I'm Sophie. I'm your national representative, or in ESN special abbreviation vocabulary, I'm your NR. If you don't know what an NR is, just in a few words, my job is to represent ESN Switzerland in the internal meetings with other ESN countries. So one very important part of my job is to go to events. And since the last NP in October, I've been participating in some position-specific meetings. We tried the Council of National Delegates in Lausanne, where a lot of overseas people were, and the Council of National Representatives in Belgrade. I will have a special presentation about both of these meetings to tell you a bit more about what I did there, but I always write reports at the end of these events and I send them on the mailing list, so if you're interested, have a look at the reports. In November, life was good, I had a lot of time, so I could also attend some events that are not really part of my, my job task, but I could go to other NPs and attend an Educate event, which was really interesting. In February, there was the Community Weekend, which Diana told about. That was a weekend that I organized mainly with the rest of the national board. And then, well, today is this national platform. The next, oh yeah, no. coming up, very important, the AGM Costa Brava in 2 weeks. The next event that I'm going to attend as part of my NR work is going to be the CNR Crete in May. What I've been doing in more details, so also with a timeline, part of my job is to do just regular national board member tasks. So for example, preparing presentation for this NP, visiting body section, attending the meetings, all these things. And then also my regular NR tasks, so it's a lot of communication with sections. I have to get information from the international level back to the local level, get opinion from the local level to the international level. I didn't put my action plan in there, but part of my action plan was to try to improve the communication with sections. I think it has been improved, but it's not perfect yet. So that's also something I'd like to work more in the coming month. A very important part is the preparation for the AGM Costa Brava delegation. So yesterday afternoon, we actually spent the entire afternoon talking about the AGM. It was a very nice session. Thank you very much for the 15 people who attended. I think now everybody is up to date about what we're going to vote on at AGM Costa Brava. So I'm very proud of my delegation, and I'm sure they're going to do a great job. Community weekend took quite some time in February to organize as well. And then there's another part of my job, which is not mandatory part of the NR job, but I still worked this year quite a lot about the ESN review. ESN review is a big structural change plan, which I'm going to talk about more later, but basically I was in a working group. We wrote an alternative proposal. We had to write proposal for CNR Belgrade and now proposal for AGM Costa Brava. So that is actually a very time-consuming task, but it's also a lot of fun. And a few other notable facts. I have a vice NR, and I'm very happy about it. It's Kamel. He's going to be talking also about updates from his side. So yeah, I'm very happy to be working with him. And that is it for my update. Thank you very much.
So it's me. I just have 2 minutes, so basically I will just tell you, hey, I'm Kamel, I'm your vice NR, and here it is. And I'm just going to do a few updates and few projects for the next semester. So what is a vice NR doing? Basically, as it is an extended board member position, it means that I don't really do any task of national board member, but I can really focus on my vice NR job. So first and most important is the dissemination of information, especially about ESN International, and this year mostly about ESN Review. And focus it more on for the newbies of ESN and people that really are not experimented about CNR topics and ESN review. I had to put a progression bar, but it doesn't really mean anything because it's a day-to-day task, so this is the point. And for this, we have, for example, a small session at this NP about ESN review for newbies. So if you are interested in the ESN review and you basically don't know what it is, you can come to my small session, or if you weren't at the preparation yesterday and you're going to the AGM and you have to vote on the ESN review, it's the time to be up to date about this. Another very important thing I'm doing is the LR community. We decided with Sophie that we have to work a bit more on this and more on the representation of the Swiss network. So now we are really working on building a good LR community. We did this at the community weekend and we will continue at this NP. Understand the LR's need, create a document that we are working on now for the requirements and rights of the LRs. And we think about doing more videos, updated videos on what is happening in the international level. So I will help Sophie as well with this. And probably phone calls before any CNRs with the LRs or any people that are interested about the international level. It's going on slowly, but I hope in the end of the semester we will have built this LR community. And finally, more for fun, connect with the CNR. Going to CNR, I'm going to CNR Crete in May, and
being a bit integrated in the community, because it is important to express opinion. I have already some friends in the CNR community, so I'm 50% of that task. And here it is. Any question? If you don't feel really comfortable about something and you don't want to write to Sophie about international level, you can also write to me, and this is not a problem. And I finished.
Hi. So about my presentation, I'm going to tell you about the things I've done and I'm very proud of, and the things I said I would do but I didn't do. Okay. So first, something that I think really happened well from the previous NP until now is the bone structure. We kind of structured the NPs with to-do lists. So for the city and the OC, we have a very long to-do list with the do's and the don'ts, what is important, what is very important that you don't mess up, deadlines for the cities that they cannot miss because they are in the statutes and standing orders. We worked with Kevin for the to-do list for the OC. We have a very long to-do list with what is important, as I said, and I think it's very helpful for the OC to have tasks to help them in the NPs. We also put together, thank you Kevin and the board, financial guidelines for NPs. We always had huge 2-hour discussions about how do we finance the NPs, who do we pay, who do we not pay, about the international guests, the cities, etc., the national coordinators, the extended board, and we basically talked about it with the NB, and then with Kevin over Skype, we wrote it down, and we have it now. It's a financial guideline for the NPs. Collaboration between city and NB. So also with this city, it worked very well. I took some experience as I was city and the previous city at NP1. We have Excels where the NB puts the presentations they want to have 2 months in advance. That way the city can structure the agenda, and the NB is also involved. And there's a document that I created that is city drafts. So it's all the document that the city is going to use, and instead of going to look them everywhere in the emails that you sent previously, somewhere lost in the drive, there's basically a document with all the drafts, with all the you're gonna need, so you just copy-paste them and reuse them. I still have to write it down. At the moment, it's a draft, it's all blurry, it's in all directions. It's in my head. I know it, I have it. And also, we still have to work on motivating sections to organize in peace. It doesn't seem much, but it helps a lot to make it easier and to also feel you guys, when you are OC, OCT, not lost in your work. Then, so yeah, I'm very happy with this one. Then Lugano. So as Theo said, we went to Lugano. Little background story for those who don't know. Lugano has been on and off in ESN Switzerland. They have been to NPs, they have not been to NPs. There are some geographical reasons. They're very far away. They're kind of in the little closure, they're a bit alone aside in the south. So, and full transparency, I mean, we have legally an ESN Lugano, but we have no active members at the moment. So on Thursday with Theo, we went to Lugano. It was a long day. We had a meeting with Usi and Subsi. It was a very long day. A lot of things happened. Funny stories, so ask at the coffee break about it. We basically went there with a presentation we had with Theo and explained to them the requirements from ESN, and they told us the requirements the IRO had. And we came up with a plan, which basically is mid-March, in collaboration with the IRO. We want to send an email talking about ESN, saying what we do, how great it is, kind of making it sound sexy, to find people who are maybe motivated or just interested, to get people curious about it, and be like, oh, what it is, what's that? Yeah, I want to know more about it. And then in April, I would go down again to Lugano. If Theo has time, I know his works 60%. I'm at the moment not doing much, so I would have time to go to Lugano and talk more precisely about what ESN is, the events we do, the buddy system, what being ESN sections involves, and then hopefully having ideally 4 people, but if we have only 3 people, that's perfectly fine, motivated to be like, okay, yeah, I want to be in this adventure, I want to help you guys to put back to life ESN Lugano. And this is still in discussion, but to invite them to Titanic and show them how great ESN is and to meet all of you guys. And then over summer, spend a weekend down with them to put together a committee structure, a budget, a calendar for the semester, a visibility plan, basically kind of having something that will make ESN Lugano sustainable. And first event in September, I said ideally 4 people, but if we have good, if we have 3, I'm very happy too. So this is just so much because we went down there. But I'm still very happy about Lugano. Okay, section questionnaire. I think I'm running out of time. Okay, good thing. So that's the results. I don't remember, in October you had to fill in this huge questionnaire. We have great relation with the university's IROS. That's what you said in the questionnaire. The NB buddies are going to ask more during the interviews with the presidents or LRs. Negatives, we have a huge lack in promotion material. I think only 2 sections out of 15 have promotion material. So that's something the next NB can maybe work on with you guys. Maybe also international projects. We have coordinators, but we have yet to work on how to implement them. But Kamel will make a presentation about this that might change after AGM, so we'll see. So yeah, that's the results. So I've analyzed the results, we have received them, so that's complete. As said, AGM, it may change, so we will see after AGM what we do with those infos. Those are infos for the board 18-19. And also something I'm going to use on section report. Section report is something that we have to do with every section as an NB buddy. It's basically a report on how you guys are doing. There are going to be specific question per section and general questions. And finally, something I have not done at all is the guidelines I said I would work on. I have collected infos from the international level, sought out useful information, but that's it. As I said, very sorry about that one. I would have loved to do more. Unfortunately, I did not. Okay, sorry. Thank you.
Okay, guys, maybe you just come back in front. Speakers list is open. Okay, just one question. 2, so is it fine? So Kit first.
Well, I would have, yes, there would be in time there for NP3, but I think that they're going to be more useful for September then. As it will be stuff like, recruitment or transition. Well, for transition, actually, it could be useful to have them for NP3. But it's guidelines are more planned to use at the beginning of the semester.
Laura?
Laura, ESN Uni Lausanne. I have one question for Theo. You spoke about responsible party and you said there were many events possible to organize in terms of social responsibility. Could you give at least 2 examples?
No. No. I can stand here. No. Well, I can make up some examples, but we don't have anything planned right now. So basically, we had a meeting with them in Zurich and Wallisellen, and it was extremely promising. And they said they have the Responsible Party Fund, and they have it's called the SNR, I think. It was sustainability and responsibility or something like that. Anyway, and we haven't planned anything specifically. They do stuff like they go build beehives, they go plant trees, all these kinds of things. We explained what social Erasmus was and what IEG was, and they were interested in doing stuff. We are talking about, we don't have the confirmation yet, but for example, something that they could do is sponsor the jerseys for IEG, stuff like that. I can't really give you, if I can make up stuff, but we don't have anything absolutely planned. But they have money and they like to support good causes. I'm sorry that I can't be more, I can say that more.
No, thank you. That's the kind of examples I was looking for. I have a second question for Kevin. You spoke about the Helvetia grant, and you said you're waiting for some data in order to contact them to ask for more money. Which data are you waiting for?
Well, I don't have all the receipt and refund yet from last year. So, well, I don't have, like the whole can I say, the numbers. It's not completely accurate at the moment, so I'm still waiting on that. As well, I would like to have the audit. By the way, we're still looking for second auditors, if anybody wants to apply. It's really important to have the audit for credibility as well. So I'm waiting after the CNP to set it up and send it. Well, that's it. That's
thank you guys.
Any other question? Yes, Ben, and then Delphine, and Kit.
I have a question for Theo. You mentioned an advisory board. That sounds interesting. Is the plan to propose this for NP3 and then set it up, or what exactly is the timeline here?
Thank you for your question. That's great. I wanted to talk about the advisory board more. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we want to propose it for NP3. But we won't have the elections until the next. Do you remember what we wanted to say? Until MP1 19, right? 18 until AP1 18. Yes, exactly. And the part of the plan is to have actually the different components of the advisory board elected at different MPs, that we don't have too many elections at one MP, and there is always a good transition. Yeah.
Okay, so I have Delphine and Kit on the speakers list. Anyone else want to be added? Otherwise, I propose to close the speakers list after Kit. Okay, speakers list is closed after Kit. Delphine.
Delphine, ESN Uni Lausanne. I have a question for Theo or Buti, I'm not sure. You will tell me. You spoke at the first NP about a national training event. Is it still in the works? Is it going to happen? What's going on with that?
It's like a triple question. Yeah, do you want to start with the financial part?
I can. Well, as Theo said, the first thing to organize it, we need more funds. So if we don't, it's planned to have it in our Movesia grant application. So, well, if it doesn't go through, we will have to change our plans. That's for my part. It's still planned.
Actually, it's also a question for Sophie, in a way that plan is to merge it with the community weekend and to have more workshops and training workshop at the community weekend at the same time as the LR or president discussions.
Yeah. Just to build up on that, the idea is that we already have the national platform every semester. We already have a community weekend. Every section has their own weekends. So adding on top of that another training weekend might be a bit too much. So merging the community weekend with a training track would make more sense.
Okay, thank you. Just to say that I feel like right now it's the NP plus community weekend that's kind of repetitive in terms of what's going on with the workshops. So that's why I was asking about a more hands-on approach with like really how to budget, how to recruit people, something that's more, local level oriented. That was all.
I have a comment and a kind of short question about the transparency. First of all, the community weekend is an amazing way to be more transparent. It really was like everybody was in the national board for 2 days. Just for people who didn't go through it, please do. It's a great experience. It's fun. Sorry, it's fun. And the question is it possible to give us the dates of the board meetings more in advance? Because often they were posted either a day before or sometimes on the day itself, and it's just not possible to join sometimes. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so speakers list is closed. It's now the coffee break. So we're 5 minutes late, so please be back at 11. The coffee break is 20 minutes. Be seated on your seat at 11. Okay? Thank you.
And ask us questions.
Je sais pas qui c'est. C'est quoi ça? Ça sort d'où ça?
Ah, ça. C'est pas Julia qui a amené le truc. Je
sais pas qui a amené ça.
Bah écoute, Hein? Ouais, ça les laisse se reposer un peu.
Non, parce que sinon, ça fait beaucoup.
La délégation pour Sangha? Je demande à Théo si ça se fait.
I like how we had to ask training. You were like, okay, yeah, we need about 3 people to answer this question.
Comme ça. Nickel.
Sit down quickly, please. Can someone close the door? Okay, we're going to continue with the rest of the board updates. Again, we'll have 4 presentations and 1 question rounds for all of them at the end.
Is it also very loud for the people in the back? What? So we can make it a little bit more quiet? What? Can we do that?
You can just be like further from the mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not too far.
Okay, well, welcome back after the coffee break. My name is Fabi, short for Fabienne. I prefer Fabi over Fabienne. I'm the communication manager of ESN Switzerland, and I will also shortly present to you what I've been doing since the last NP. First of all, this is a picture from the national board meeting in Vienna. This was kind of my highlight between the last NP and this NP. We were present there with chocolate and our ESN guides, which I'm going to talk about later on. So, the first thing, I've managed to establish Common. Common is the Swiss Communication Committee. We have a beautiful logo designed by Kamel, thank you very much. And we have 5 members from different sections. Yeah, so with that, we're done. Then the ESN guide, you've probably already seen the ESN guide somewhere. We don't have any here at this NP, but you might still have some at your local section's office if you have an office. I'm now working on ESN guide 3.0, so the 3rd version. And I need your help. You've probably seen me, oh yeah, here we go. You've probably seen me spamming already in the group. How can you help? You can give me your inputs and your opinions. If you read the guide and you see something about your city, for example, and that's just not correct, tell me so I can correct it. And there is also always a page with a little text about each section and a picture about each section. If you want them to be updated, if you want an updated picture because you have new members, for example, or you want to update your text, you can also do that and send it to me. Deadline would be the 7th of March, that's next week, that's next Tuesday, and you can send it to booklet@esn.ch. So yeah, we're just getting started with that now. Then we have hoodies and t-shirts. Yeah, I managed together with Kwasi to come up with a new design for ESN Switzerland hoodies and t-shirts that we're going to wear at the HGM. Those are produced by our partner, Watermelon. We actually have the t-shirts with us. Kwasi has them with him. Now we're going to distribute them in the afternoon during the coffee break. So yeah, we're done with that as well. And then the last thing is the website. If you go on esn.ch, it now looks like that. We have a new landing page. Because the website was a bit neglected in the last time, so we thought it would be cool to update it, and I've updated the information as well, took out old information. We had some really old information in there. Yeah, our webmaster is going to talk about the website later on in his presentation, because we also have something coming up there. Yeah, and that is it. If you have any questions, you can just approach me anytime, or you can send me an email to this address. Thank you very much.
So hello, my name is Mika, and I'm the webmaster or web project administrator, because ESN, they like the abbreviations. So I'm going to talk to you about the things I did. The structure is a bit the same as last time, so it's based on my action plan and the things I did So the first thing you have to do as a webmaster is like to maintain the tools we have. We have quite a few, like ESN Galaxy, maybe you know. Then a satellite, our website system. Luckily we have Kos from ESN Zurich still, and he's having the servers and he's helping with the updates, and he gives us a very good price for this. And the wiki and ESN Live, these are just some tools that you might know about ESN. So there have been some bugs, quite a few, that we had to resolve. And also ESN Basel has a new website now. You can go to basel.esn.ch and see what they put on their website. So this is always a bit working like this. Okay, then another point was screening things, like knowing what you guys do, knowing who is responsible for the website and stuff. So that is done. And what I added on top of this is Google Analytics, so we can see who visits our websites, we can see what things they're interested in, and I will talk about it later. The Helvetic IT team, we're still at least 3 people. Tim from Geneva here, and Anna, who's supposed to come as well, maybe this afternoon, and Simon and myself. So we have defined some projects we're going to work on. Not so many things happened because there was CNP and a lot of other stuff. But now at least we defined the buddy system project, which Tim and Anna are going to work on. IT training was done especially at the last NP, so you could visit a workshop about doing a website for your section. That was the workshop. It's not existing for this NP because we got a lot of other workshops. And there I remarked that for the local webmasters we need to give some more information what you have to do, how you have to use the website. So I realized that I have to do kind of a guideline so you guys can know how to improve your website, and also maybe build a sort of community so you can ask questions if you have some. So the main focus was on the website, as you saw. It is pretty new and using Google Analytics. And also we are going to rebuild it a bit because the media usage changed now. So people are a lot using Facebook and other channels. And you have to think about a bit how people use websites. It's more about who visits the website and how can we build the best service for them. So we're going to write new content and improve the website. So if somebody's interested in working on that a bit and learn about the search engine optimization and stuff like that, very interesting. You don't need to program, you can approach me or Fabi and join the website team in the next month. So some overview about the Google Analytics, so we can just see which sites are visited. So we see that a lot of people go to the partner site and ESN guide and sections and national board members information. So the site is really used for that, to find information about us and mostly for partners and institutions. Also people are mostly from Switzerland, some few Germany, Italy, the surrounding countries. So we really have to focus on that. We have to offer the service for people who want to know about ESN, like partners, how you can become a partner, how you can profit from our association. And fun fact, a lot of people are interested by the things like travel, education, but also in dating services. So maybe ESN could do something about that. So as I already said, the reasons to visit our website are partners, contact of family members, so like you know who we have to contact, and the ESN guide, so we should really focus on that and also make our website findable on Google better. So what's coming next is the guidelines, as I said, and the wiki. There's going to be a presentation, I think, tomorrow about how to use the wiki and the new features, so be there. And some other future projects which have become present is the ESN event registration system. It's online now. We used it for the community weekend. You can register there with your Galaxy account. And it's also an invoice tool, so it's facilitating the invoicing. So for the next NP, we can use that. It's on events.esn.ch. And Wiki Lift Up is almost finished. It's not published yet, but it's going to be flashed soon. And the buddy system, matching system, you can approach Tim and Anna if you have some more ideas, but we already did the feedback round. And we are going to have SSL encryption soon, so we have secure websites as soon as we move everything to the new server. So if you have questions, you can send me a mail. It's easier for me, so I can read mails at work, but I cannot look at Facebook all the time. So thank you.
My name is Quentin. I'm from preparing practice manager of this event. So this is the group where I'm working with. Working hard. So my action plan is to have many partners as much as possible. So for that, we need to create a booklet. This is not, as I said, guys, the ESN partnership booklet. So we have it actually in English. We also have in partnership booklet template for the section. You just need to modify it as they wish. Some improvements have to be done. We will just make some translation in French or German. If you have that, you have time for that. The other way to have mini partners is to have the position of partnership manager in section where they have to be. So we have partnership manager now in Geneva, we have in Zurich and Neuchâtel. Now we have like 7 partnership manager in over 15 sessions in Switzerland, something good now. The way to communicate with the sections, I have a Facebook group for the partnership managers. It starts working well yet. Hopefully in the future it will be more active. There's other way to communicate with you is to have you to send me some press messages, just to make you some remind or make some posts regarding partners. There's also the other way to use the partnership bodies. I think this doesn't work well. This is the list. You can just check if which person is assigned to you, to your section. They are here to help you for some problem regarding partners and so on, or some clarifications. Hopefully, next time we'll just use it more than use it actually. There's the partnership body is a way to have new sections. There's other way to have is to have some workshops. So for this NP2, we have 2 workshops for you. The thing is, we just want one person from each section in order to be sure that any information that we will give you in the workshop will reach every section. Hopefully we'll be there. So we just want to give you some tips, some best practices in order to improve yourself. It's just starting, so we don't know exactly how it's going on, but hopefully they will help you. It will help you. There's one thing that I'm also focusing on is to have guidelines for you. Is really might make your life easier. You just need to prepare some tests for your social media, like Facebook page and group. Also for your website, so you just need to copy and paste and start. Sometimes for Instagram, Snapchat. I think some works have to be done to make it more clear. I think it's clear now, but we still to improve it. There's one big thing important this year. I think is the National University Communication Team. So come on. They help us making partners posts. They also check our booklet, and we create the ECN, we create the hoodies and t-shirt for ESN Switzerland, something we already finished. So now we, as she said, we have the t-shirt and the hoodies. So we're gonna just distribute to you during the lunch. So if you have time, just come to us and get it completely done with it. Thank you. I think we don't have time for questions, so just approach me during the break or whatever you want. Thank you.
Hello, I'll try to be quick so you can ask more questions. I'm Nino, I'm the education officer. Often the question comes up, what does that mean, education officer? So basically I'm external relations within Switzerland. So I represent ESN within Switzerland to universities, to institutions, to the national agency, to the student union. So I'm a bit of a lobbyist for ESN, if you wish, defending the interests of ESN and by proxy also the interests of the international students in Switzerland. So I've been going to quite a lot of events recently. I've been involved in the whole ESN review process quite a bit. So I've been at the CND Lausanne. The sections elected me as the vice national delegate at the last NP, so I was there. I also joined the CNR Belgrade, I was at the community weekend, now the NP, and then I will go to Adrian Costa Brava as the country delegate. So those that know me know I repeat myself, but I take a lot of space. So please feel free to interrupt me once I talk too much. Right now it's difficult, but afterwards. But I also really like to talk, so I also really like to answer questions that you have. So I'm very happy to discuss all these things. And we've been doing a lot on the international level. And so this will continue until AGM. I've also been going, as I said, representing ESN Switzerland externally. The VSS is the Verband Schweizer Studierende. In French it's the UNES, just the Student Union of Switzerland. As Theo already showed some photos from the IRUAS meeting. The IRUAS meeting is actually the meeting of all the universities of applied sciences of Switzerland. And we have quite a few, and we have quite a few ESN sections. And interestingly enough, there's a lot of overlap of the issues in these sections. The biggest one is the high turnover. Because at a university, you often study for 5 years. At a University of Applied Sciences, it's more often 3 years. And just these numbers make it very clear that at University of Applied Sciences, you have a much higher turnover in the ESN section as well. So we talked to them about it. The picture on the bottom right is Theo and me holding a workshop where we had a lot of good inputs and a lot of good contacts. Actually, the guy that's barely cut off on the left is a guy from ESN Lugano. Not from ESN Lugano, but from the University of Applied Sciences of Lugano. And you actually met him again. So all these meetings as education officers are very important to build up the contact with universities. And it's really always really nice to hear when these people come and say like, oh, our ESN section is so great and they're doing a wonderful job and everything. Often also they come like, oh, I really should talk to them again, and it would be super cool in creating these contacts. And so my job is it to advocate for you and say like, oh, this is what ESN section could do in your university. But at the same time, you are also advocating for us. So the job that you do on the local level really helps me promote ESN and on the national level. So I had 3 tasks that I had. Improving the representation of ESN in the field of education. I discussed most of it. One of the things that we did is for the CND Lausanne, the amazing event that was organized, we had an opening conference. The opening conference was a discussion about the added value of exchange. We invited the head of the national agency who presented the situation of Switzerland, which was really cool. We had the vice rector of the University of Lausanne, which is actually quite impressive, that came and talked to us about how he feels, why he feels going on exchange is important. And also we had this discussion, we invited ISEC Lausanne. So we had this connection with the other student association, and we all have the same goal in the end to promote mobility, that people go on exchange and take these opportunities that are in front of them. The last point, working towards EAIE Geneva, I will touch on that, but this is important to improve the representation. Then, increasing the support structure. So what has been difficult is the education team to get it going, because for me it was a bit unclear what are the specific tasks. I have Zach, my predecessor, who's been an amazing help for me. He's basically doing the job of a large part of what in other countries the education team is doing. So whenever there's news about Europe, the relations between Switzerland and Europe, he automatically updates me and posts, and like he's my one-man policy watch team basically. So that's amazing, thank you, Zach. And also what is great, and I think what is very important for the future, I've been getting a lot of support from Theo. And Theo makes a lot of sense because Theo works in IRO, and at the same time is the president of ESN Switzerland. So he has both of these aspects. So when we go talk to IROs, he can say like, oh yeah, I'm also one of you. And when it's going to talk to ESN, it's also, oh, I'm also one of you. So this overlap is very useful. And you can say, and you can share best practice and say, no, this is what I'm doing with my ESN section. So that's great that he's been joining me, and that's wonderful. One of the things, how we can increase the support structure and knowledge within ESN Switzerland is to join the EAIE in Geneva. I will talk about this again. And the third point is improving the promotion of mobility. You will have workshop about moving, a small session about moving Europe, and an update. Laura Heiner cannot be here, but she has good representation for her. Other people will do it. And one very big thing we can do, and I've been repeating myself, but this is very important, is to join the EAIE in Geneva. So, what did you say? What is the EAIE? EAIE stands for European Association for International Education. So this is a huge association where basically almost all of the IROs are members. So all your IROs, the people that often give you money and or they send the people in your university on exchange, they're part of this. And there's one meeting every year, so like their annual general meeting. And their annual general meeting this year, 2018, will be in Geneva. I don't know if it ever has been in Switzerland before. It's a huge organization. It's a very big priority for everybody working in international education in Switzerland. And thanks to our contacts that we've built up over the years, we have the option to participate. So what's going to happen during the EAE is we're going to have, there's going to be a big stand called Study in Switzerland, where the universities and the University of Applied Sciences of Switzerland will promote for people to send people on exchange to Switzerland, to promote going abroad for the people from Switzerland. And so there's going to be this huge Swiss stand. But what they wanted is, they wanted to make it a bit more cool. And not just have the people from the international offices, but they also asked us, can you help? Can you join us? Can you maybe make a game and do some activities and have some things going on this EAE stand? So we could actually work for it. We don't have all the details yet. Possibly we're even going to be paid for that. And so there's an option there for a few people to work on that. The dates are from the 9th to the 14th of September. So it's before the semester starts. However, be aware that this might also coincide with welcome weeks in your sections. So this is not 100% ideal, but on the other hand, if you have people that can take care of the welcome weeks, it's an amazing opportunity for you before to start the semester. You get a lot of great contacts. Okay, I know, but this is a really, really great opportunity. So if you're interested, please work on that. We also have the option, thanks to the contacts we have, to create and to have some Swiss members as staff working on the event. ESN Geneva is already also staffing, so if you're interested in this EAIE thing, please come talk to me. I have a lot to talk about that, and more information will follow until next NP as well. Thank you very much. Feel free to ask questions.
Question round for the 4 presentations we just had. Speakers list is open. Okay, I'll start with who was first.
The question is for Fabi and Kwasi, I guess. The AGM jerseys, why were there 2 colors and not one? If the goal is to appear as like a united delegation kind of thing?
Thank you very much for your question. That is because we wanted to give people a choice. We asked people also about design and what they preferred, and there were, of course, very different opinions. And it would have maybe made sense to only have it in red, since it's with colors, but there were many people who said they don't like red and never wear red, which I can say for myself as well. So we wanted to give them another choice. And we think it doesn't really diminish the appearance. I think it's still a unifying design. Julie?
Well, it's a question for Fabi as well. You spoke about come on. Oh, I'm sorry.
Excuse me. Julie is you spoke about come on. Could you give us more details about what this team is doing?
Yes, so for now, I've mostly been working on just establishing it, because the former national board came up with the idea that we should also have committees for, like, for example, communication for the network and so on. And it was then left to us how we would establish them, what they would look like. So until now, we've been more working on just gathering people in a team, coming up with a name, coming up with a logo, and so on. What they could be working on would definitely now be the website, writing texts for the website, for example, coming up with new pictures, changing the design a bit, as well as for the booklet, because there we also need to go over it and update it.
Theo?
Theo is in Switzerland.
just to tell you how important and fancy the EI is, for EIV Seville, it costed, the participation fee was €935 without accommodation.
And we can go for free if you
It's a comment. I would like to really compliment the new logos of IT and communication, because they really make the Swiss ESN look so much more professional. I think now we can really compete with other big ESN countries in that sense, and I'm really proud of them.
Kit, does anyone want to be added to the speakers list after Kit, or otherwise I propose to close it? No objection? Okay, speakers list is closed after Kit.
Question about the conference thingy. You say we get paid. Is that the participation fee is paid, or is that paid, and is that ESN Switzerland is getting paid, or is that participant getting paid?
Again, I don't have all the information. We're currently in discussion with Swiss universities and so on. We wouldn't have to pay the participation fee that Theo said was these 935. Possibly we even get, even if you staff, you get like reimbursed to a certain degree, so you get some money. You shouldn't do it for the money. It won't, like, financially it won't make sense probably to do it for the money, but it's nice to get something extra if possible. I don't know exactly what the budget is, I don't know exactly how it will look like. But we won't have to pay this very expensive participation fee, which other people, like 6,000 people pay to go actually there. So we have this amazing opportunity right at our doorstep. So we're trying to make the most of it.
Okay, thank you very much, the board. We are now going to continue with the first workshop sessions, which is the Meet Your Colleagues session. So, here is the distribution. Okay, so people from the OC are going to bring you to the different rooms. 3 groups are staying here, so the last ones. Is anything not clear? No? Okay, so, what? Oh yeah, get your, sorry. Take your notepad and pen with you.
Okay guys, the ones who come to workshop room 1, please follow me. And I think workshop room 2 is Kevin, no? Workshop room 2 is Masaki. And the 3 others are Kevin. 3, 4, 5, Kevin.
5, just follow me.
So the new people that are doing their first NP, follow Tim and me.
Quickly for the board, be back at 12:30.
Gracias. Muchas gracias, hombre. Je peux te dire un truc parce que tu peux pas le dire, pas de problème. Je vais le dire après. Tu vas aller où? C'est pas forcément trésorier. Ouais, non, les deux. Ouais, franchement,
Okay.
Nothing ever changes. That's all we do next is for the media colleagues.
Could we speak in French? Okay, I need French.
Parce que bien évidemment, il y a beaucoup d'entreprises qui sont pas forcément nationales et plus l'idée, c'est un peu comme ça, avec à la fois donc après, bon, ça prend
I think she's bringing people to your room to really start with all.
Nous on se connaît. En gros, bah, j'en ai aussi avant moi aussi on se connaît. Tout le monde se connaît. Donc voilà, j'ai commencé à manager, 6 mois en tant que parti. Une année, 6 mois, une année en tant que et à côté de ça, bah, on a un comité international on s'est mis notre chef de comité international. Lui, il fait son game, pas comme ça, mais il est là.
C'est moins de boulot que national. C'est moins de boulot que national.
Du coup, enfin, on a fait deux rencontres. La ligne qui était encore, on voyait tous les planches. C'était le but de faire et c'est là, en fait, c'est ça quelque chose qui avait passé. On a plein d'idées, on a plein aussi. Juste un petit truc, les barrages, c'est à portée de moi, mais je n'ai jamais pensé faire tous les barrages. Disons, j'ai parlé aux gens du débat, en fait. Vous avez les barrages, ils sont internationaux, mais ils ne sont pas tous unis. Quand je suis revenu, j'ai commencé à chercher chaque temps. je fais ça, elles sont à l'autre responsable en fait de l'histoire. Ils ont fait très très ouvert. Moi, j'ai même pas trop dit en fait. Ils m'ont dit on a ça, ça, ça. Et puis, enfin, au final, on a discuté entre nous aussi. Et puis, au début, c'est simplement la carte. Parce qu'ils avaient sur la carte. La carte avait sur la carte. Et après, on s'est refait de but. Donc, tout encore le manger. C'est un peu classique. On est passé à 10. On était à 10. Non, on ne peut pas t'imaginer que c'est 5 fois par personne en plus. Et tout. Si on te donne 2000 cartes, ça fait genre 10 000 balles. T'imagines. Ouais, mais on est plus réception, on a plein les racistes et tout. Ok, bon, c'est pas 10 francs, on va faire à 8 francs, tu vois, on n'est pas loin. Ok, bon.